You know how it is in our nonstop world. It is so easy to feel completely overwhelmed. Your to-do list is a mile long, notifications are buzzing 24/7, and your mind just will not shut off. I mean, we've all been there, right? But what if you could actually hit a reset button on all that chaos? Well, it turns out you can. So does this sound familiar? You're trying to focus on just one thing, but your brain is juggling 10 different thoughts, a bunch of worries, all these little reminders. It's kind of like having way too many tabs open in your mind, and none of them are loading right. And that mental clutter, it's not just distracting, it's absolutely exhausting.
Well, here is the good news. There's a really simple, super practical, and incredibly fast way to get some of that control back. What we're talking about is a 2-minute practice that can literally act as an immediate stabilization tool for your mind, no matter where you are or what you're doing.
So let's dive into the tool itself, the 2-minute reset. And look, this isn't about becoming some kind of meditation master overnight, not at all. It's about having a quick, effective technique in your back pocket to pull yourself out of all that mental noise and just get back to the present moment. So why is this thing so popular? What's the big deal? Well, for starters, it's super accessible. You can do it at your desk, in your car, even while you're waiting for coffee. It's incredibly time efficient, obviously. And maybe the best part, there's no training needed. You can actually feel an immediate shift in your focus after just one single session.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. Forget any intimidating ideas about deep spiritual journeys. Think of this purely as a functional tool, a mental reset button that you can press anytime your system feels totally overloaded.
Okay, so it's quick, it's easy. But come on, can 2 minutes really do anything? To understand that, we need to take a quick look at the simple science that actually makes this whole practice so effective. This comparison is so important for just managing expectations. Think about it this way. Traditional meditation, that's the long game. It's aimed at deep insight, at real transformation over time. The 2-minute reset, its job is totally different. Its goal is immediate stabilization. It's just a quick pause to calm the waters, not to try and change the entire ocean. And this is where it gets really cool. These little resets, they have a cumulative effect thanks to something called neuroplasticity. Basically, every single time you consciously pause and refocus, you're carving out a new little path in your brain. At first, yeah, it's a tiny trail, but over time, it becomes a well-worn road, making it so much easier for your brain to default to calm and focus instead of just stress. Okay, so you're sold. You're ready to install that mental reset button. Let's do it. In this section, we're going to equip you with a few concrete techniques, your own personal mindfulness toolkit that you can start using literally the second this explainer is over. One of the easiest methods to remember is the STOP practice. So S is for stop. Literally, just stop. Whatever you're doing, just for a second pause. T is for take a few natural breaths, nothing fancy. O is for observe what's going on inside, your thoughts, feelings, any physical sensations, without any judgment. And finally, P is for proceed, but with a little more intention, choosing an action that actually supports you. And you've got options for what you focus on, your anchor, so to speak. Focusing on your breath is fantastic for calming your nervous system down. A mini body scan, just noticing the feeling in your hands or your feet, that's great for grounding yourself when you're feeling anxious. And sensory anchoring, like focusing on a single sound you can hear, that's perfect for pulling yourself back when you're in a really chaotic environment. You know, the writer Jon Kabat-Zinn put it so perfectly when he said this: an anchor. That's exactly what it is. Because look, your mind is going to wander. That's just what minds do. The anchor is simply the tool that you use to gently, kindly guide it back. Okay, so we've covered the individual practices, but how do these little, fleeting 2-minute moments actually add up to something bigger? Well, this is where we start to see a really powerful shift from a simple action into a whole new mindset. And that brings us to this really important number, 66. Research shows it takes, on average, about 66 days of consistent repetition for a new behavior to become totally automatic. This is that neuroplasticity we were talking about in action. It's not about being perfect every single day. It's all about the power of small, consistent actions that solidify those new neural pathways. And you can kind of see how that journey plays out, right? On day 1, it takes real conscious effort. But after about 3 weeks, it starts to feel less like a chore. By day 45, it's beginning to feel pretty natural. And then, around day 66, that 2-minute pause can become an automatic response to stress instead of something you have to force yourself to do.
And it's really cool to see how this one tiny habit can become the cornerstone for much bigger routines. Take Amy Mubarn's simpler morning method. The very first step is S for silence. See? That 2-minute reset isn't just some standalone trick. It's the foundation that other intentional habits, like setting intentions or movement or learning, can all be built upon.
All right, as we wrap up, let's get to what might be the single most important idea in all of this. And that's presence, not perfection.
I mean, this quote says it all, doesn't it? The goal is not to have a perfectly clear mind or to never ever get distracted. The whole point is to remove pressure, not add another task you have to be perfect at. The goal is simply to be present for a moment, to notice when your mind has wandered off, and to gently guide it back. That's it. That is the entire practice.
When you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one thing. Your small daily routines are everything. They're the foundation of your day. By intentionally weaving in these tiny 2-minute resets, you're building a foundation that actively supports a more regulated, more focused life, one moment at a time.
So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge, a question to think about. Before your first meeting, while the kettle boils, in your car before you walk inside your house, where will you find your 2 minutes to hit reset today?